From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
Celebrating the sizzle, why one woman has been named a grill master legend. Target on ag, what witnesses say happened after it's reported Russian forces stole ag equipment from Ukraine. Planting problems persist.
Well, the weather's been a little bit strange.
We get an update from North Dakota where feet of snow have fallen, idling planters in the middle of the busy season. That's right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Rain and cooler temperatures continue to weigh heavy on planting, with the latest crop progress numbers continuing to show things are running well behind the normal pace. USDA reporting 14% of the corn crop is now in the ground. That's 19% behind the 5-year average, but up 7% from last week. North Dakota hasn't planted any corn yet. The I states are all in single digits. Soybean planting also continuing to lag with 8% of the crop planted. That's 5% off the 5-year pace, and North Dakota getting a hash mark for soybean planting as well. While cotton planting running a bit ahead of schedule at 16% planted compared to the 5-year average of 15%. Now, in previous years where North Dakota's wet weather has prevented planting, it resulted in 800,000 to 2 million acres of prevent plant. But with commodity prices this year, Treg Cronin thinks North Dakota will do everything they can to get a crop in.
There's no question between the snowfall the last couple of weeks and the rain that we're getting in the Dakotas today and this weekend, we're several weeks out from a lot of progress in North Dakota specifically. So I think you could see a big shift there from spring wheat to corn. If it gets later than that, corn to soybeans. If it gets later than that, then maybe we're soybeans into sunflowers. But there are options yet, but spring wheat could be the big loser here.
And planting season has been particularly hard on farmers in North Dakota, some of whom have seen 40 to 50 inches of snow in just the past month. Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan has more on what that means for farmers' outlook this year.
From devastating floods in eastern North Dakota to snow piling up farther west, April has created two extremes.
Well, the weather's been a little bit strange.
A state battling widespread drought last spring has seen a 180-degree turnaround just recently. That's as planting was just about to start.
We were looking at a really early spring. In fact, we actually had our drill hooked up, ready to go seed on Monday before this snowstorm hit.
Paul Thomas farms in north central North Dakota, where the week before Easter, the ground seemed primed to plant.
And then all of a sudden we got hit with 40 inches of snow, and it sure changed the outlook for spring's work.
April snowstorms here aren't rare, but back-to-back blizzards and the cold has been extreme for even North Dakota. Probably
the one thing different about this April storm than some in the past is we've stayed so cold since we've had the snow. So we're going on, 12 days now, and we're still looking at major snowbanks, fields, 60, 70% covered with snow yet.
Thomas says typically farmers here would be getting into the field to plant right now.
We'll plant corn all the way out to about May 25th. That's kind of our drop dead date. We try and get it all in by May 10th to May 15th.
And even with the window closing, he says he's not switching his planting plans just yet.
Our plans for planting and seeding our small grains, we're still, going to stay with the same crop mix. We'll see as how long this takes to see when it warms up.
And his biggest concern right now is when and how all of this snow melts off.
Our biggest concern is melting it off. And then hopefully, there's this situation where you have a perfect melt, where you have those 45, 50-degree days where you're moving some snow, you give it time to soak in, that it all doesn't run off.
But if the area sees a big temperature swing, he knows there's some areas that may not be able to plant.
And if we would happen to get one of those really warm days, we'd see a lot of this snow just running off and filling up our potholes, filling up some areas that we typically farm, that we're not going to be able to farm those areas.
Even with all the concerns, it's moisture that's sprouting optimism about what harvest could bring.
The moisture, although it presents a lot of challenges for us, it certainly gives us that hope of a lot of opportunity for a good crop as well.
All right, thanks, Ty. And severe weather, also an issue. The cleanup is underway in Andover, Kansas, following a devastating EF3 tornado Friday night. Now, the National Weather Service says the twister generated winds of up to 165 miles per hour while carving a path 13 miles long. Up to 400 buildings were destroyed while nearly 1,000 were damaged. Leaders from the town just east of Wichita, Kansas say it'll take years to recover, just like it did when an EF5 tornado touched down in the same area back in 1991. Now it's May, but don't tell that to Mother Nature, as more snow fell Monday in western Nebraska. The heavy snow closing I-80 between the Wyoming state line and Sidney on Monday. This was a wet snow too, so at least the good news out of this is some moisture for Nebraska producers. Now other portions of the state seeing several inches of rain over the weekend. Meanwhile, areas in the southwest just can't catch a break when it comes to moisture. Meteorologist Matt Yurosavik joining us now. And Matt, the fire danger persists.
Yeah, Clinton, that's right. We've got some very dry conditions back there in the southwest, especially in parts of Arizona and New Mexico. That's where we're zoomed in on right here with our drought monitor. And you can see parts of New Mexico with extreme to exceptional drought conditions. Arizona a little bit better, but still very, very dry across most of the state. And that combined with those strong gusty winds, which we're going to see as we head through today, and this map here shows you anywhere from 25 to 40 plus mile per hour wind gusts in some of the mountains there in Arizona and New Mexico. That combined with those dry conditions can really kick up any sort of spark, and that's why again we have that fire danger out there, especially for Albuquerque. Most of New Mexico there highlighted in red. That orange though all the way over toward Flagstaff and Tucson as we head through today. Tomorrow, much of the same as these dry conditions will persist. But we've also got east of there, we've got a severe threat. Today, farther up into the Ohio Valley, parts of Tennessee, and then tomorrow it moves back into Oklahoma, where we could see another outbreak of a few strong supercells and tornadoes. And some folks are managing to get some planting done. Becton Bell of Arkansas sharing this picture saying beans are going in. That's great to see. Some dry ground there though. I'll have more on your forecast coming up.
Fire crews were called to the Purdue Farms facility in Chesapeake, Virginia over the weekend. Crews say plant operators reported a fire in a large soybean processing tank. The firefighters had to climb multiple flights of stairs with hose and equipment to access the standpipe system. They say it took about an hour to bring that fire under control, but they did say there would be a lot of work involved in overhauling and dumping product from that tank. No one was injured. A plant manager saying the fire would have little to no impact on their operations. Now, the Purdue Farms fire is just one of several recent fires at food processors. Now, over the weekend, someone was trying to link those fires with Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack. A rash of unverified stories published on a number of websites and social media outlets claiming the secretary had been arrested in connection to those fires. Now, we asked his office for a comment. A spokesperson says they can confirm he was not arrested, adding it appears to be, quote, disinformation. Keeping you updated on a situation in Ukraine as it relates to agriculture, Corteva announcing that it's withdrawing completely from Russia. You'll remember earlier this year it announced it was suspending operations in the country and pausing new sales. Now it says it plans to stop production in all business in the country. The company saying it has put in place actions to help assure a growing season as normal as possible this year in Ukraine. And it says it will also donate seeds to Ukraine, Africa, and the Middle East region for the 2023 growing season in an effort to lessen the impact on global food production. And Russian forces appear to be targeting the ag industry in Ukraine. CNN reporting that Russian troops in the occupied city of Melitopol have taken all of the John Deere farm equipment from an agrotech dealership and shipped it to Chechnya. But they have been unable to use any of it because it was locked remotely. Now, it's estimated that the equipment is worth about $5 million. Among the equipment reported stolen, 2 combine harvesters, a tractor, and a seeder, along with several other pieces of equipment. CNN also reporting that a contact told them that Russia is looking to bypass the protection and that even if they sell the combines for spare parts, they will make some money. There are also claims that Russian forces are stealing grain from the occupied territories. It's a global economy in many respects, so where do U.S. commodities fit in? We'll discuss that next. And later, spring is the official start to grilling season. Today, we'll meet a woman marking a milestone that few grill masters can claim in the country.
It's time to sign up for the 2022 United Pork Americas Conference in Orlando, Florida. Register today at unitedporkamericas.com and join us September 7th through the 9th.
The cost to farm these days continues to go up, and now diesel prices have hit an all-time high. AAA reporting diesel was averaging $5.32 a gallon on Monday. That's up just from the record set on Sunday when it was averaging $5.29 a gallon, an increase of more than 22 cents in the last week. Right now, prices are about $2.23 higher than they were a year ago. Of course, diesel powers much of the equipment used on the farm, along with trucks and trains and ships to haul the products. We're joined today by Brian Doherty with Total Farm Marketing. Brian, as we talk about kind of the big picture here on the global economy and all of the moving parts that we've seen really in the last few months, give us a snapshot of where we stand today and how commodities start to fit into this global picture.
Great perspective, great question. How do commodities fit in? Well, first of all, global supplies of commodities have been on the decline really over the last 3 years, and we've had sort of exasperated events, whether it's weather in South America, shorter crop in the U.S., so direct yield, test weight, those type of things have been kind of lining up post-pandemic. China's hog herd growing. Now you've got inflation in the mix, high fertilizer costs, a value in the U.S. dollar that keeps screeching higher as the world comes to the U.S. to buy debt security instruments, anticipating return on investment. It's a more dynamic world than I've ever seen. So there's a lot of what I'm going to call all of this is music. A lot of it's out there. It's important. You can focus on any one of those events. Probably front and center, there was one, concentrating on planting crops right now, and then two, shifting the risk of planting those crops. As we look at long-term trends, obviously interest rates probably going to head higher. So again, focusing on that part of your business. Can I secure debt at interest rates before they rise? So that's one thing. Another thing, securing my inputs, making sure that I have them, making sure that I have contracts. If I'm a buyer of corn or soy meal, making sure that I have those contracts in place and then managing those contracts, because if we have a weather event, supplies could be really tight. So the point of all of this is you can focus on this sort of this spectrum of all of these variables and feel lost. What I would do is focus on what's important to you, and then I would focus on how to manage that and embrace sort of this volatility and look for the opportunity, and then talk to people in what I'm going to call your success circle, people that can help you achieve your goals and help drill down to get that done for you.
Embrace the volatility. I like that. Very well said. Thank you, Brian, for being here. We'll be back with more AgDay coming up in just a minute.
To discuss marketing strategies, call 800-334-9779. Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com.
Meteorologist Matt Yurosavik joining us here with a national forecast, looking at our severe weather threat. And, in May, that's when we see a lot of these severe storms.
Oh, yeah, and we've got a little threat today through the Ohio Valley, but it's the next couple of days where things are going to move back towards the center of the country and get a little bit stronger as well. Yeah. And today's severe weather threat will stretch from just about the Cleveland area through southern parts of Ohio and then eventually back down into Lexington, London, Kentucky, back towards Nashville and Paducah. These storms will be moving to the northeast through the day. And again, just a slight chance there for some strong gusty winds and some small hail. That'll be the main threat in this area today. But we do have that area back towards the west tomorrow. This is where we get a better chance for some stronger cell thunderstorms here, a couple of tornadoes out there, especially right through Oklahoma City at the center of that. And then another chance for storms as we head towards tomorrow that will, or Thursday, I should say, that will be just to the east and that is a better chance for some stronger celled storms as well. So here's a look at today's map. We've got a storm system bringing heavy rain through the Great Lakes and parts of the Midwest. High pressure moving in behind it, and then we've got this here. This is the storm system that's going to bring that chance for storms tomorrow. A little dry line down there action. We've got calmer conditions towards the south and east. Some pop-up thunderstorms, though, possible with not a lot of driving there down in the south. This cold front continues to work eastward. Not a lot of storms along it. That main bulk of the rain near Wednesday morning will be up into the northeast. Meanwhile, just some higher elevation snow and some rain back there in the northern Rockies. As that system moves eastward, this is where we start to get that chance for some stronger storms Wednesday evening and into Thursday here for out ahead of that dry line, and then moving eastward into parts of the south as we head through the next couple of days. So very active stretch of weather, and you can see it right here. Lots of rain falling right through the middle of the country. Oklahoma, Kansas going to need it, and they're going to get some good rain, as well as parts of the northern Rockies still looking at a lot of mountain snow out there and some rain. So this could help, again, some of those drought conditions that are in place back in the northwest. That's a look around the country. Now let's take a look at the weather where you live. South Bend, Indiana, periods of heavy rain and thunderstorms, a high of 62 degrees. Dry and sunny but breezy in Santa Rosa, New Mexico, a high of 80 degrees. And Sun Valley, Idaho, snow likely. Mild afternoon, a high of 45.
Production contracts are common in agriculture. We'll tell you how common coming up next. And later, made to order. A Georgia grill master hits a major milestone today in the country.
The Dairy Report on Ag Day is brought to you by Beringer Ingelheim, because cattle first is a remark only made remarkable by you, producers and veterinarians across the country.
What's being produced under contract these days? USDA's Economic Research Service adding it all up. It says in 2020, 33% by value of all U.S. farm commodities were under contract. As you can see, 29% of dairy production was under a marketing contract. For poultry and eggs, the number's 12%, with 76% under a production contract. Researchers say marketing contracts represent 23% of all crop production. That includes more than half the value of production of sugar beets, peanuts, and fruits, but less than 20% of soybeans, corn, and wheat production fell under marketing contracts. Now, for the first time ever, methane emissions burped from cows have been spotted from space. Environmental data company GHG sat capturing the emissions, saying the source was a feedlot in the heavily ag area of the Joaquin Valley near Bakersfield. The image taken back in February. Now, the company calling the capture significant because it says ag methane emissions are hard to measure, and it says the amount of methane it detected from that single feedlot would result in more than 5,000 tons of methane emissions if sustained for a year. Now, if that methane were captured, it's estimated it could power more than 15,000 homes. Frank Mittlerner, a researcher in livestock sustainability, says that dairy farmers in California have begun storing animal waste in covered lagoons rather than open ones in an effort to keep methane out of the air, trapping the gas so it can be converted into a renewable fuel. Industry experts argue that livestock emissions account for just 4% of greenhouse gases, and they estimate that fossil fuels contribute up to 80%. Well, if you love the sizzle of a steak on the grill, you might be envious of this Georgia woman's work. Her incredible grilling milestone next. If you're the grill master at home, how many steaks do you think you've cooked in a lifetime? Well, for most of us, there's a good chance we're nowhere close to Gail Dudley. Gail works for the Longhorn Steakhouse in Georgia. She was just named a Grill Master Legend after grilling 1 million steaks. You heard that right, 1 million. She's been flipping meat at the chain's location in Columbus for 20 years. And when she hit the 7-digit landmark, she was honored with a surprise ceremony and was given a special gold chef's coat and a $5,000 check. In a statement, Dudley says she is happy to share the celebration with her mother, Now, Darden Restaurants, Inc., the owner of Longhorn, says that Dudley is one of only 14 workers to win this title. Congrats on a job well done. Or maybe it's medium rare. And that's all the time we have this morning. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.